Morning, guys. 10th of June 25. We have come to the Boeing facility here in St. Louis, Missouri for a tour of their museum.
The Blue Angels have always been one of our biggest proponents for Boeing. They're the best Navy fighter group right now for us. They fly the F-15 Eagle right now.
Okay.
And they really like the plane, so they always come down. They were here in St. Louis last year for the air show.
Right.
So they always are one of the biggest groups to come down. We haven't yet had the Thunderbirds come down. They're the Air Force strongest one right now, so that's the cool parts right now. So here we have the military. In the middle, we're going to have missiles in space we're going to talk about, because a lot of people forget about what Boeing has done in the space industry, as well as on the commercial side. It's going to be on the far end.
Okay.
So if you follow me through this way,
Yes.
this is our lineage wall. We start from 1920 all the way to 1995. You see the development of fighter planes, as well as how it's kind of focused. We go from all the way from biplanes to our modern day jets.
Right.
We also have on the wall, we also have some of our commercial planes we will have. We will also have some of our torpedo bombers, fighter planes, as well as our helicopters as well. Because I'll let you know whenever we start introducing helicopters, when we start seeing changes.
Right.
Here's the cool thing. This is our diorama of the DWC, the Douglas World Cruiser. So in 1920, no one yet circumnavigated the world.
Right.
America was the first one to do it with the weather system, so it's tough up there to fly during that time. Think about it. You know how in the modern day we can fly around the world for like maybe a day, maybe
Right.
at most.
Absolutely.
Took
Yes.
them 6 months to get around the world.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Kept because they could land on water because they had these flotillas.
Correct.
Because there weren't that many airports during the time.
Right,
There was
right.
some maybe, but they landed in the Danube. They landed over there in India. They landed in the Ganges. They've landed many.
Oh,
places
really?
throughout the time.
Wow.
Yeah. They always had to find water throughout that time because there was not many airports. No one thought of airports throughout that time.
Right.
As you see through our lineage wall, we started developing more in our military, especially in 1935 to 1940 during World War II, the escalation of the war. We see that Boeing makes the B-17 Flying Fortress, B-29. North America makes the plane that saves the war, the B-51 Mustang. Some of the biggest things throughout that time. Around 1945, we see the introduction of helicopters now.
Okay.
So helicopter industry, VTOL, all these vertical flight mechanics start coming up.
That's the years are up there. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. 1945. Okay. So these are still propeller driven. When did the
1950, we have our first jets.
first jets come
Yep,
in?
first
Okay.
jets start coming out. That's for the United States. That was mainly the Sabre.
All right.
Yep. The Sabre, though, was not that well of a concept because it was such a straight-winged concept that it was very easy for them to break during maneuvers.
Right. Okay.
That's when we finally, in 1953, thought of the sweep wing design, where the wings are coming back now.
Okay. Yeah.
And so less resistance on the jets.
Right. You see the straight wing design there. Yeah.
That's what comes out with the Phantom, Banshee, Voodoo, of some of our classics. That were
Right.
made right home here at McDonnell.
Yeah.
Commercial side also gets the sweep wing design. We see that develop also. If you hear over, that's our flybys right now. They're doing training right now with the F-15s. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
The airport's right here, so we can get to
Right.
it every time that the flybys.
So what airport is this?
This is Lambert. So Lambert's right here. This is our section of Lambert where we have our flight line of our testing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
we
is
have-
this a commercial airport?
Yes. Well, no. This is our smaller airport. Is kind of just ours, like
Oh,
for,
wow.
like,
Okay.
testing.
All right.
Lambert, though, we are though connected to Lambert. Though.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the commercial side, we have our UPS stuff as well as the FedEx commercial.
And which one is the one which has got these two engines at the back? This is the one?
Yes. The C9C was one of the biggest ones that put the ones in the back. It was
Okay.
a test model for that because we started going back.
So I remember having flown this on SAS because I was sitting on one of these seats.
Uh-huh.
And it was maddening because the engine was right here,
Yeah.
right next to
Yeah.
so your view was actually the engine
Yeah,
outside.
you have to see the engine the entire
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So if you follow me, we kind of get to the end of our lineage wall. We have our F-15s coming out, the T-45 Goshawk. This is
Right.
one of our trainers for the Navy that we used to
Okay.
make. Right now, we do not produce that one really anymore. We right now are making the T-7 Red Hawk, which is a trainer for the Air Force.
Okay.
We'll get to talk about more of that over there in the military section because that's one of the interesting parts.
So India has a couple of Globemasters.
Yeah,
We have quite a few of them.
yeah.
Yes.
That's good. They're really good transport vessels.
Absolutely.
Really great.
Yes.
We do the wingtips for the 787 and the 777 because these planes, they're known as our queens of the skies because they're so huge.
Right.
They can't fit in like the smaller airports now. So we help fold them in because we're really good with that with all our fighter planes.
Right.
So that's the big connecting piece between us and Seattle is how we connect is we help them make sure they fit their clean blue skies in small airports like Milwaukee, all these small airports around the country right now. If you notice this is a kind of a model history of our planes and everything. It starts over here all the way in 1933 and goes all the way to the modern day. So you kind of, if you walk around, you'll see the development of how planes slowly came through.
That'll be a good.
The cool part is here.
Yeah.
The Model 247, this only flew 12 people.
Okay.
And now the 787 flies over 400 people.
Lovely.
See how flight is quickly developed around.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah.
And to think about it, that's only been almost 100 years of that changing. So it's like, see how flight has kind of slowly developed is really interesting for us in the commercial sector. The portion I love to point out, as we were kind of looking at the lineage wall, Douglas D7 between the Model 367, or we like to call it the Dash 80. The interesting part about this is, as you see, this is the last propeller design, and then we finally go up to jets.
Right.
That's why it's so important to us that we finally go up to the jet age. And you see the difference as I was talking to you, these are straight kind of wings. Now we have the sweep wing design, for less resistance. That's a really this all kind of came in around 1970s, really.
Okay.
When the computer age started kind of getting more important for us. And the cool part is it's less dials now or like maneuvers and everything, all these things. The screen tells you what to do. That's the nice part.
Okay.
It's like
Right.
compared to some of our like other earlier models, that's like it's just a dial telling you something. It's like the screen tells you what to do and what's wrong very well.
So tell me, even the Dreamliners and all have the steering yokes and all still, or those are all punch in and all?
No, they all
Just
those have the same. The 787, the 767, all of them have the same thing.
Okay.
All of them are created the same like that. That's the coolest part about that. So.
Lovely. And tell me, so when a pilot is actually flying an aircraft, and there are so many different buttons here.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, how many buttons does he need to use?
I don't think he uses that many.
Yeah, I'm
many,
sure he
many
does.
different ones. It's mainly around here in the center for throttle,
Right.
and mainly the buttons for like looking at for like wing and drive, radar. That's the biggest one I think many pilots focus on.
Right.
I don't think it's many as people think.
Yeah, I know.
Other buttons are for sure, but some of them not as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Only-
Some of these buttons are just electrical wires that connect. Like some of these top ones could also, these aren't really buttons, these are just connecting wires to there.
Okay.
Like almost like, you know how you have your
Are these pressable? Can we press?
rocket style.
Right.
And that's what happened. This is the real life size of the JDAM.
Oh, okay.
So this is the real life size. So think how big our fighter planes are. This is
Yeah.
with their wings.
This fits onto a fighter plane.
Yeah.
What would the weight be?
I'm not for sure how much the weight is.
Okay.
But we delivered a lot of them to many different parts of the country, as well as 30 international militaries use the JDAM.
Okay.
Also, the Harpoon. Harpoon missile is used many times for the anti-air for many ships, as we know.
Right.
The cool part about that Harpoon right now, we are right now developing the Harpoon as a truck-based shooting missile.
Right.
It's right. Ashkenaz has that right now for us.
No, we are good. Thank you.
Perfect. So to first talk about this is the Mercury capsule. This was the first capsule that kind of got us up into space.
Right.
Here's the interesting part. We weren't the first ones up to space. As we know, Yuri Gagarin and the Soviets beat us up to there. And he was the first man into space.
Right.
Alan Shepard was the first free man into space. The biggest thing pointing at the Cold War tension and everything, that we're kind of the democratic side. Here's the interesting about Mercury. Mercury was a 20-minute adventure when it first started. Our biggest idea for Mercury was if we can get someone up to space and someone back down. That was the biggest thing
Right,
with the Mercury
right.
program when we were starting.
Yes.
Baby steps, that's the biggest thing.
Right.
This was a one-man capsule. This is all an engineering mock-up, so we try to get as best as we can to the original.
Right.
This window would not exist beforehand. It was only a metal kind of like casing, so this is just a look.
So it is all closed.
Yeah, it was all closed. So think about it like you're the only person in space.
Nah.
Very claustrophobic.
Yes.
That's
And
why
so
we
many
get
wires and
so many
circuits and
wires,
everything.
That's why we kind of give Alan Shepard a really big kind of credit for it because,
Right.
you know, he was the first one to be up in space, see space, the 20-minute adventure, you know. So now you have a buddy with you, which is really, I
Yeah.
think, nicer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that was Alan Shepard's and Ed White's kind of concern. They're like, this is kind of weird being by myself in space. So you got a buddy, and here's the biggest part about the Gemini kind of development was, let's see if we can get someone out into space to orbit again with this capsule, but also if they can do maintenance on it. So they were testing mainly their astronaut suits. And
Okay.
so they kind of tested on field repairs. Glenn was one of the first ones to get out in space and do this. His was also a 20-minute journey out here in space, kind of working on stuff and maintenance checks.
Right.
Yeah. Then after Gemini, as we know, we then had finally the Apollo program. We landed on the moon. We beat the Soviets there in 1969 with Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. So that's the cool part. I want to show you guys, here's a really interesting part. We have one thing that actually went up to space that we got back. So and it went up to all the way to 3,000 degrees when it was re-entering orbit. Right. So this is what L. Gordon Cooper Jr. went through in his Faith 7, and this is the actual heat shield.
Right.
So this actually went up to space and came back down. So it's
Right.
the coolest, like one of our coolest things in this museum.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Should have had a cutout touch.
Yeah, I wish,
Yeah.
but like how much it was just so I'm trying to an engineer mock-up of the Gemini.
Okay.
Really complex. The engineer. Think about what we do now. I had Titan, and then we had Apollo with Saturn. So Apollo, Gemini, Mercury. These are our top kind of space shuttles.
Right.
And then our rockets were actually the other ones. So we actually named it Saturn, Titan, and Atlas. Seeing the difference, the size slowly increasing. Here's the cool part. Charlie Walker, he was one of the people who worked here down in McDonnell Douglas. He actually got to go up to space. We got his suit whenever he was up for NASA when he retired. And here's the cool thing. Mr. Mack wrote him a personal letter
Okay.
saying congratulations. You're
Right.
one of the great guys that gets to go up to space and represent our company up in space. And after Charlie retired, we got his jacket and we were like, we're definitely putting this in the museum because that was so cool. Everything for every country together, so it works
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Right.
Because the Russians were the first ones to put their first two items into the International Space Station, the control board. It was Zarya, which was Star.
Okay.
The cool part about this is it's basically a flying gas station for the Navy.
Right.
The biggest portion of it was to help the Navy have flying aircraft that could help fighter jets refuel during combat.
Right.
They don't have to keep landing on
Yeah,
carriers
yeah.
and have that traffic. So that's the cool part about the MQ-25A Stingray. This is created over there in St. Clair, Illinois. So right across the Mississippi River by Mascuda. That's what they make down that way. They've had many different things for it. They really like the design. The Navy really likes that they get something that can help kind of stop traffic. This also here that served.
Okay.
So we got this back from the Army, and this is like a reconnaissance plane. This is the actual size of it.
Okay.
The drone. So the U.S. military used it for many different ways. They used it for finding people in Afghanistan,
Right.
hunting down terrorists, as well as using it as a way to focus on finding biohazard material in the region.
Right.
It was a great plane. They like it. The Australian Army right now is using it as well. So it's the cool thing. Strike Eagle is one of our biggest fighters right now. The cool part is this plane has not yet lost a fight yet. This is
Okay.
100% consecutive wins. It has not lost an air battle. It is one of the best ones in the skies right now. This is our trainer. This was the T-7 Red Hawk, the other one I was talking to you about. This is the Air Force trainer for the F-15.
Okay.
This is the T-45 Goshawk. This has sadly been decommissioned right now for us, but this is the trainer for the Navy
Okay.
and their pilots.
Right.
If you guys go around the circle, this is kind of our development of flight. This was the P-12 Gaylor. It was one of our first aircraft in the U.S. Air Force. It was made in 1928 all the way to our T-7 Red Hawk.
Right.
There's a wide variety of planes in here. You do have some fighter planes, torpedo bombers, attackers, regular bombers. The other thing I do like to point out, this is the B-17 Flying Fortress. It got the name Flying Fortress due to having every 50 cal machine gun around it. The interesting part about this plane did not do that well in its time of conflict because it was easily shot down because it never had air cover.
Okay.
So whenever a couple years later, during World War II, the P-51 Mustang came out, and Herman Goring, one of the Waffen generals, said when this plane came out, they knew they lost the war because it was such a great fighter plane during World War II. Then also the B-29 Super Fortress. This was the plane that dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Oh, okay.
The key scene, jets slowly develop. We see the Phantom, Sabre, Voodoo, some of our classics. And we go
McDonnell Phantoms.
The Super Hornet. The Super Hornet is one of our attacking vessels. As a fighter and attacker,
Eagles.
classification.
Hornets.
It's able to do both. It's very
F-15.
combat. Yeah, it's a twin Mustang. We haven't done as much. You guys heard about Qatar gave us some kind of presidential thing. They have to then start all the way from step 1. We're already at step like 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to take them a lot of time to fully certify that for Air Force One.
Right.
Here's a history also of our Air Force Ones.
All
These
right.
three was the ones that Franklin Delano Roosevelt had, the B-314, the C-54C, and RD-2.
Okay.
He never flew in the RD-2 for some reason, but the C-54C and the B-314 he's flown many times.
1940s.
Yep. Harry S. Truman was the only president from Missouri down this way, and he was from Independence, Missouri. That's why he named his the Independence.
Okay.
Yeah, a little kind of nice little local history down this way.
Right.
All the other ones have been slowly developing. As you said, the C9C, that was one of the things that we also used for a smaller Air Force One throughout the time. So yeah, that's kind of our history of Air Force Ones. Right now we're still in development for the newer ones. So.
Right.
And then we also.
This is our second Airbnb in Terre Haute this time. That's the kitchen, guys. That's the living room. Yeah, that's the first bedroom. Lovely. Bathroom, hats for me to wear. Wow. A proper dining area. This is the washing area. That's the dining area, and dining area with inside the bedroom. Very good. And look at that green patch at the back. Lovely. Look at this. Very nice house. So this one was also more expensive than the previous one, but yeah, fairly large and nice and single level, so it's more convenient. And we've got a parking right outside here, a safe parking right here. Hi guys, 10th of June 25. The time now is 11:30. We left our hotel in the morning. First went to the James McDonnell Douglas Boeing Museum in St. Louis, Missouri. Spent a good 1 hour over there, and then now we are headed towards Terre Haute, Indiana, which is 159 miles from this point, and roughly around 2.5 hours from here. We will probably need around 3 hours including lunch, which is fine because our check-in time is 4 p.m. today. Yes, indeed, it's a strange check-in time of 4 p.m., but that's what the Airbnb has indicated. We will be in Terra now for the next 4 days, and we fly out on the 14th to Miami. Of course, that will be from Indianapolis Airport. नहीं?
Indianapolis.
होगा जो भी है. And yeah, and we need to swing via the hotel in Indianapolis because Nakul has left his iPhone charger and his charger for his watch at the hotel. These boys, when you tell them something, you tell them to be careful, they frown at you, and then they do these kind of things and then they smile. Our times were different. We were more careful, number one, and God forbid if we made such an error, we would be extremely sorry and regretful. But that's okay, that's how life today is. What do you think, Monica?
He did say sorry. He
No.
was extremely
He does not need to say
regretful.
sorry, it's okay.
No, he was extremely regretful. We searched 10 times.
He was regretful.
No. He is. I don't know what more needs to be done, but yes.
Hi.
And then you say, "Yahan pe
So
sare
guys,
show
mother
off
is
karte hain."
always
Nahi, you say
covering up.
everyone is show off here. They
which is
keep saying
okay, which is okay.
sorry.
I've learned to live with the situation that the
Thank
mother
you.
will always cover up and the father has to be playing a more of a practical kind of a role here, and the bad man and the whole thing. It's okay. It is the way it is, but I mean the whole trip will cost us around an hour and 50 miles, which is okay. I mean, we'll do it because it has got to be done. That's it. Yeah, so that's it, guys. So I'll catch up with you later now. We'll see the board on the right. The city of Illinois is 4 miles away, and Millennium is also approaching.